Good evening, everyone, and congratulations to the Sephardic Community Center for once again being in the forefront as an umbrella organization and hosting many, many institutions to come together in this beautiful building to celebrate Israel's 70th anniversary. And thank you, Morris Bailey and his colleagues, for founding this wonderful center. And thank you, Gladys Haddad, the president, for inviting me to speak this evening. A very special story that happened back in 1967 when Israel was at war. We all know it was a short war, but it was a critical moment in history. Just before the war, my uncle Eli Ashkenazi received a phone call from a friend that said to him, "Eli, I understand that Realtone Sound Design Electronics has short-range walkie-talkies with built-in Morse code. These short-range walkie-talkies were more for children and could not be intercepted by the enemy." My uncle Eli responded by saying, "Business is very difficult now, and we do have thousands of these walkie-talkies, and we have a purchase order to a very large retailer. Nevertheless, we will ship you whatever we have." He ran into my father, Saul Ashkenazi, Alav Shalom's office, and right away they recruited the owners of the company, including Morris Franco and Harry Franco, Sonny Laniato, Morris Asher, and several others, into the warehouse after hours to physically unpack many of those walkie-talkies because they didn't want our batteries for security reasons, repacked the products, thousands of them, and the very next day they transported these walkie-talkies to a private hangar at JFK Airport, where they were met by fellow Jews to unload our vehicle and to load it into an American military aircraft. This was a covert operation. No names were given. Thank God the plane made its destination. The walkie-talkies were used throughout the combat, and a special letter was written from the Israeli defense minister in 1967, addressed to my uncle Eli Ashkenazi, in appreciation for helping the cause and for saving lives. Thank God the mission was a success. And just months later, my father and my family were invited on a VIP trip to Jerusalem to physically touch and walk where the Kotel is today. There were shells, thousands of shells, bullet shells throughout the ground. Soldiers walking in defense, but at the same time, happy and celebratory. I also want to share that without the state of Israel, Jews around the world would have no pride. We walk around with proudness, with our head high, because we have a country. And for 3,000 years, we had no country. Today, Israel is in the forefront of technology, saving millions of lives a year just via technology, just via communication skills. Today, a major force in the medical field. Several years ago, I read the book Startup Nation. I was motivated from that book to visit Israel and to visit startup companies and to eventually invest in many Israeli startup companies, both born in Tel Aviv as well as Jerusalem. On my flight back with my son Isaac Ashkenazi, I looked at him and I said, "Isaac, it would be completely selfish if we kept all this to ourselves, all this excitement about Israel startups. Let's open up with Rabbi Harold Sutton a yeshiva for 9 months after a student graduates high school before they enter college. They visit Israel and they learn Hebrew in Israel for 9 months. But the catch would be to work a half a day, 3 days a week in a startup company. What wonderful exposure and creating independence for our young men to come back to Brooklyn and New York and deal and say, Dad, I could help you re-innovate your business. There's innovations from apparel to medical to the electronics industry. It's happening all around us. We're the greatest marketers in the world. Visit Israel, not only tap into the Judaic side, but tap in now to the industry side.